I have been wanting to make this video for so long, and now that Everyone's a Star is finally out, we have a good discussion to have today. Hello everyone, my name is Maddie. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Today I am so excited because I'm finally going to be ranking every single one of 5 Seconds of Summer's albums. And when I'm talking about albums, I'm talking about full studio length albums, not any of their EPs or anything like that. Maybe that could be a separate video, but I wanted to rank their 6th studio albums together. I will be including the deluxe versions of the albums. I feel like that's fair game. The EPs are just a different beast, and some of them are only available in certain countries and things like that. So I think we're just going to discuss the full length studio albums together, as those are the ones that people, talk about mostly in general. So I have been wanting to make this video for a while as a 5 Sauce stan, but I've always felt in my gut that they were going to be releasing another album. So I always wanted to wait for that new album to come out so I didn't have to do a whole new updated video with that new album and all of that. And y'all, I guess my Megamind psychicness came through, because literally I was thinking about this for maybe the last year or so, and here we are with a new full studio album. I've made so many videos about the singles and this album, a full reaction video for Everyone's a Star, so if you are interested, please do watch that next to get my full thoughts on that album individually. But this video has been super hard for me to make. It has been living in my mind rent-free, because this is very important to me. I do not want to get this ranking wrong, and I do love all of these albums individually. Absolutely none of these albums are bad. I absolutely love 5 Seconds of Summer. They are one of my favorite bands, so don't get me wrong. Even the 6th position album is absolutely iconic. There is nostalgia that comes into play a little bit as well. Please keep that in mind, because I cannot just not think about the nostalgia and the times that some of these albums got me through. So disclaimer, this is all a personal opinion. This is my opinion. Please be nice in the comments. Music is very subjective, and these are just my honest thoughts, and thought has gone into this. Please remember that. I will be giving my favorite songs, my least favorite songs, things like that. We will be having a robust discussion here together. So without further ado, let's just get started. Okay, so I also been thinking about, do we want to do it from least favorite to most favorite, or favorite to least favorite? But I figured we would do least favorite to most favorite to save some suspense. But then that means we have to start off with my least favorite one, but it has to be done. So in the 6th position, my least favorite 5 Second of Summer album is 5 Sauce 5. Now, I do have all of my vinyl records here to just show you guys the album art. I figured that would be fun since I have every single studio album by them on vinyl. So this is the album art for 5 Sauce 5. This did come out in 2022. This was their most recent album prior to the release of Everyone's a Star. So again, this came out 3 years ago. Now, I guess we'll start with why this is my least favorite album by them. Now, I think it's because the tone of it. I feel like it is very lo-fi, kind of melancholy, almost trying to go for a dreamlike trance state. And I feel like that is more Luke's thing. I feel like Luke has done that kind of dreamlike aesthetic on both of his solo projects, both on his first solo album, When Facing the Things We Turn Away From, as well as his Boy EP. And that is just kind of Luke's thing, and I feel like it fits with his tone and his vibe very well. Now, with that being said, I feel like Callum can also kind of fit into that vibe. I feel like he definitely had that vibe as well on his solo album that came out this year as well, Order, Chaos, Order. He did have some more 80s vibes in there too, but I feel like his voice does definitely fit that vibe more so. But with that being said, Michael and Ashton, I feel like do not fit that vibe, and their voices just do not fit in that genre very well. So with that being said, it's not very surprising, at least in my opinion, that some of my least favorite songs on this album are ones that more heavily focus on when they are all singing together, or songs that are specifically maybe geared towards Michael, for example. So I will say that my least favorite songs on this album are Bleach, Haze, Emotions, Best Friends, and Mood Swings. Now, I know again that this is controversial, and even for some of these songs, I like them as individual songs, but then again, they just do not fit the vibe and the tone of this album. For example, I love that they made a best friend song. I love that they made a song about being besties and being friends. I feel like the fandom have been asking for that for a long time, but the vibe of this song just does not fit in with the rest of the album at all, in my opinion, and it sticks out like a pretty sore thumb. With that being said, I think that there's just not really a super cohesive vision to this album. I think that it starts off again with that more lo-fi kind of dreamlike state that they're going for with Complete Mess. I think Complete Mess is a good opener to the album because it does have that more like upbeat chorus, but again, it kind of starts off slow and with that guitar, and it kind of starts more melancholy, and I feel like it kind of wraps the album up together. That's the only song that I think that like cohesively fits the whole vibe of the album. So with that being said, I feel like it just jumps around a little bit too much within the album. For example, I think that like Easy for You to Say and Take My Hand and Older all fit together pretty well and have similar vibes, but then you throw in like Me, Myself, and I, which is more like very upbeat and a very like pop-centric song. Bad Omens 2 is almost an outlier, and Blender as well. Like some of the songs just do not fit in with the cohesion of the album in my opinion, but they're some of my favorite songs because they remind me more of the quintessential five sauce essentially. So I think Me, Myself, and I really do like Complete Mess. I do like Bad Omens. I really like Flatline. Tears as well, which is a deluxe song that we'll talk about in a little bit as well. Caramel is really good. Like there are songs that stick out to me that I really like the sound of, but again, do not really fit in with the whole Joshua Tree desert vibe of the album in my opinion. So for example, Tears. I love Tears. It's the Ashton song on this album. It is on the deluxe. It is the closer of this album. I really love that song individually. I really like the drum heaviness of it and just the vibe of the song, but it does not fit with the rest of the vibe of the album in my opinion. Bloodhound is another one too that I really like as well, but again, it kind of fits in more with that Tears vibe. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the album. Emotions by Michael. I am so sorry, Michael. I do, love Michael, but Emotions reminds me of a child's nursery song. ABC 123, I don't want to talk about it. Like, Michael,
maybe you should take that one back.
Oh my gosh, that is one of my least favorite songs on the album, if I'm being honest. Like, Michael was trying to fit in, I feel like, with the vibe of the album, and it did not work out. And oh my gosh, like I said, the ABCs and the 123s, I can't really get over. It's just, I'm sorry. No. The 8th track, Haze, I literally can't even remember right now. Like, I literally do not listen to that song. I just forget it. I can't even, like, it's very forgettable. Same with Bleach, like, Bleach in the hallway, I guess I know, but, like, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, some of these songs are almost, like, too slow and boring to me a little bit, but then you throw in other songs that kind of bring back up the beat, which I can see why they maybe wanted that dichotomy, so it's not completely all just, like, slow and sad throughout, but again, it isn't very cohesive, and it's like if you wanted to stick with like the dreamlike trance state of the album, then maybe just go with that pretty much throughout the album. This is a really long album. It's hard to stay cohesive when it's, almost a 20 song album with the deluxe, so that could have been a problem too. I think they could have maybe cut down some of the songs or left some of them off. I think that this is when they all wanted to show themselves and kind of have an individual aspect to this album. I feel you can see that mostly with this album since they all did have their own individual songs, and with that though, you realize that they all have a very different vibe, right? And it doesn't necessarily lend to each other the best on this album. Older, for example, the 7th track on this album is Luke and Sierra Hemming's song Together, which is a almost like ballad, right? It's a love ballad essentially, and again, I feel like that does kind of fit in with the album since it is a Luke song, but that is a crazy contrast to Tears and even Emotions in my opinion. You Don't Go to Parties, which is Callum's song, and that is the 9th song on the album. That I would say kind of fits more with the vibe of the album. I do like that song. That is Callum's song, kind of gives me Callum vibes. I can see why it's on the album. But pretty much once we get to, again, like Best Friends and Emotions and like the later songs on the album, that's when it kind of completely flips to me. And that's where, we have Flatline and Redline and Bloodhound, which are, again, just different instrumentals, different tones, different vibes. And they just don't really fit for me. it's almost like a completely different album. The ending of this album, since there is so many songs, it's almost like a completely different album in my opinion, and it just doesn't fit the best. So I think that's my biggest problem, is that it's like it's hard to listen to this album cohesively because the vibe is so different, and I feel like maybe this is a personal thing. I like to be in a certain kind of headspace when I listen to an album, and I like to listen to an album in full. And the first half of this album again is more like vibesy, more lo-fi, more kind of the neighborhood vibes to me almost a little bit. But then once you get to pretty much past You Don't Go to Parties, like, so once you hit number 10 or so, it completely changes direction, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of a weird switch up. Like, I don't know. Yeah, not really my thing. I just feel like they tried to throw too many things at the wall, and I think that they were trying to make a cohesive album where everyone was happy and everyone had their own personality and style on this album. But Michael and Ashton's vibe just do not really fit this album in my opinion, and I think that is where everything went wrong, is that they didn't really make these songs cohesively. They really just made their own individual albums and decided to kind of throw them on the album, and they didn't really fit together in my opinion. That is my thoughts on 5 Sauce 5. That is why it is my least favorite. Again, some of the standouts to me that I go back to pretty often are Caramel. I think Caramel is my favorite on the album. Again, it fits with that vibe so well. I know Ashton is on the song. Like, Caramel to me is a song where they all came together and agreed on it and worked together on it to fit with the vibe of the album, but also still kind of have their own individual style and sound to it. I really like Caramel. One of my favorites for sure on this album. We listen to that pretty often. Also, I really like Me, Myself, and I. Again, I go back to that pretty often. It's almost like the sister of Old Me, I would say, in a way. I do like Complete Mess as well. Again, I think I mentioned that Bloodhound and Flatline. Again, the more kind of like upbeat songs are my vibe and my favorite ones on the album. This is where it started getting hard for me. Like, I kind of knew that 5 Sauce 5 was in my last spot because I really don't go back to it very often. Again, maybe nostalgia plays a part in that as well, since it, only came out a few years ago. But this is where it started getting hard. In the 5th position, we are putting Calm by 5 Seconds of Summer. Now, again, this is a hard one for me because I do really like Calm. This came out in March of 2020, literally right before the pandemic. Like, it was crazy. They had to cancel their whole show and pretty much did not have a tour for this album at all, which was really sad because I already got my tickets and they were a good spot, really good tickets, and I was like sad. But at that time I thought that it would only be postponed by maybe a few months, but again, that did not happen. Of course, it was postponed by like over a year or so. Again, I feel like they did not get to do as much press and music videos or anything like that really for this album, or at least in the same way that they wanted to. I know that they released Wildflower, for example, as an at-home kind of music video situation since it was COVID, and I know they kind of did their own like carpool karaoke situation where they're all in the car kind of listening to the album and their songs and things like that. But I feel like I did listen to the song quite a bit because, again, it was the pandemic. Nobody had anything to do. And this album really did grow on me. I did really like this album. I'm thinking that maybe the cohesion is also another factor that comes into play with this album, and maybe, again, the nostalgia not sitting with it long enough. I don't know, like, there's just so much going on during the pandemic. Like I said, I was listening to this album, but there's also so many other albums and things that were taking up everyone's attention and time. But I will say that I really, some of my favorite 5 Sauce songs are on this album, but again, it almost has like a harsh contrast and tonal switch halfway through the album, and that I think is mostly in part due to Easier and Teeth. Now, those are some of my 2 favorite songs on this album, some of their, most renowned songs, especially Teeth. I think that's like one of their most streamed songs on, all streaming platforms, and it's a really, really good song. I absolutely love Teeth, one of my favorites on this album and just by them in general. But again, like, those 2 songs are like very experimental for them. I feel like those are definitely more like, kind of synthwave, techno, definitely a different vibe for them. I think it works for them. I think it works, with their voices, but it's so different than like Not in the Same Way and Best Years and, Lonely Heart, like all of those, and even High, right? Like, it's just such a different contrast switch that it almost gives like not a super cohesive view on the album. But I at least think that the tone throughout and the lyrics stay within that same almost like melancholy vibe of the album. So there's a lot of like heaviness going on with this album, I would say. I think, they were coming off of Youngblood, which was their most, critically acclaimed, I would say, album at the time. And this was, even the album cover being like in this all black, right? I feel like just the vibe of this album was, in the lyrics they were talking about, you know, their drug addiction and you know, their past relationships and things like that. I feel like that's where they started to really dive heavily into those themes, is with this album, which I did appreciate, especially, you know, at the time. And fame and success, even with like No Shame, right, talking about celebrities and the work they get done and plastic surgery and how, you know, kind of fake everything is and how they don't agree with that and things like that. Like, I really think that maybe like the lyrics and the messaging is pretty cohesive. It's just like the sound and the tones are not like super cohesive, if that makes sense. So there's not any songs that I like necessarily dislike on this album. Just looking at it, like, I don't know. I want to say like maybe Red Desert, not my favorite. And I think the other ones have grown on me. Like, I would have probably said like Lonely Heart and Lover of Mine maybe back in the day, but those have grown on me a lot, especially with like listening to these songs to try to find a song that I could play for my wedding. But I realized really quickly that they might sound like they are love songs, but they're actually like kind of sad love songs, right? Like You Don't Love Me the Same Way, or like Lover of Mine, I know I've messed up, I know I've been a menace, and things like that. So that's where like the lyrics being similar comes into play with me. Like, they're still like sad love songs, so I could get where they're coming from, but like, I don't know, like No Shame, Easier, Teeth are just a much different vibe than like High, right? And even like I said, Lonely Heart, things like that. So I would say, and Best Years sticks out like a sore thumb to me. I feel like Luke always has to put his sad ballads on all of the albums, just kind of throws them smack dab in the middle there. Luke, I love you, Megamind, but yeah, I don't know. Wildflower even too, I don't know. Yeah, like just Best Years and Teeth being on the same album is kind of crazy, in my opinion. But again, I do love Best Years, again, as like a love song kind of ballad. Luke, like with his acoustic guitar cover, if you've seen that on YouTube, is so good. But yeah, it just doesn't fit the rest of the vibe of the album, really, in my opinion. So I think that's the main problem here. Again, there's no songs that I like don't listen to or dislike on this album, which is not the same as 5 Sauce 5. So again, I think it's just kind of like the cohesion. And this is a short album, so I feel like they could have had it be a little more cohesive. It's only 12 songs on this album. Also, I love Kill My Time. Why did they not put that song on this album? Like, I listen to that song all the time. That is like the deluxe song off this album. I love that song, and I feel like it does like kind of fit the vibe of this album. Definitely, like, they could have thrown it in there between like No Shame and Old Me or something. I don't know. But again, yeah, Red Desert is almost like a 5 Sauce 5 song to me for sure, especially being at like that desert kind of almost tranquil vibe to it, right? Like, that does not super fit on this album. I feel like No Shame could have been a good opener. Yes. Like Red Desert, no, I'm sorry. Like, I like Red Desert as its own individual song, but that would have fit on 5 Sauce 5 so much better. Like, I just think that if they have a good song, they'll just throw it in there. Like, I love you, but like, I feel like that is what was kind of happening on these last two albums. Like, if they liked the song, it was a good song, they kind of threw it in there, even if it didn't really fit the vibe of the album. But again, super good album. Still, I go back to it very often, and I really like pretty much all the songs on there here individually. I think it's just, I think the cohesion aspect was just kind of getting away from them in this era. So again, this is where it started getting super hard for me. But in the 4th position, I think I am going to put Everyone's a Star. Gasps. I know. I absolutely love this album. I'm so happy for them. Like, this is such a good album. I do have the album up back here, hopefully. So I don't have it on me with me right now, but I absolutely love this album. I think this is like such a good album to come back with, like the rock heavy vibes. Like, yes, we have been asking for this. We love this. I am so excited for this album. I'm so excited to see it live as well. I think that maybe, again, my perception could change a little bit listening to it live. Again, same with Calm. Like, I did not get to go to a Calm focused tour, and I think listening to it live might have also played into why I put Calm in the 5th position. But Everyone's a Star came out so recently that, again, I think nostalgia is playing an aspect to it. I think I do need a little bit longer with the album, but it is so good, even on first listen. That is why I put it, you know, above some of these other albums. It is just so good. Again, I did make a full 1-hour video about my thoughts about this album, so you can see how much I do love it. I think that the album, again, I mentioned this too, kind of suffers from the cohesion aspect as well. Again, I mentioned this in my video. I'm not going to give too much, but Ghost being smack dab in the middle of this album, y'all know I have a gripe with that. You guys know I have a gripe with Ghost on this album. Again, it's just a hard transitional point in the album. Luke having to do his slow ballads, y'all. I think they could have put Ghost at the end and it would have fit so much better going from, let's just say, Jawbreaker, Ghost, and then Start Over if we're mentioning and referencing the deluxe album, which I know we are talking about, which is another Luke song. So that, oh my gosh, that vibe would have just been so much better. Yes, I'm sorry, like I know I've talked about this, but if we're talking least favorite and favorite songs on this album so far, I would say Ghost, I'll Find You, which is Callum's song from the deluxe, and Sick of Myself would probably be my least favorite from the album. Again, just vibes wise. Just vibes wise. Sick of Myself, not even, I feel like it does kind of fit with the vibe of the album because it's like a doo-wop. It's definitely more high energy. Just reminds me of Jealousy, Jealousy so much by Olivia Rodrigo. And I think that I do like Jealousy, Jealousy by Olivia Rodrigo more. I think she did a little bit better. So I think that's why I threw that in there. But overall, I love this album. As you can see, like I love most of these songs on this album. I love the vibe of this album. I love that they're having fun and you can hear it. I feel like they haven't had fun in so long. Like I feel like Calm and 5 Sauce 5 were both pretty like melancholy, slow, trancy. We're both like melancholy albums where they're like sad, which I totally understand, you know, why and why they did that. And that's where they were in their life. And I feel like just you could hear like how happy and jovial and such a good time that they're having on Everyone's a Star, which I absolutely love for them. Again, that's why you can tell that for years they've been kind of in this, you know, headspace, which again, I totally can understand. Being a celebrity, I cannot even imagine, but I think that it also has to deal with the fact that they all have now released their own individual albums and have said what they wanted to say and have had that creative outlet to put out what they want to put out. And I think that that's why they were able to come together on Everyone's a Star and have this cohesive album because again, not everyone's fighting to have a sound and a tone and a personality on the album as what they've had to do with, you know, all of the band's collective albums in the past, right? So the fact that they've had their own creative outlets and have had the space and the time to say what they want to say individually on their own albums, I think that that's why Everyone's a Star is such a star. Like it is such a good album because I don't feel like people are fighting or feeling like they have to, you know, say what they want to say on one song, for example, right? Or have their own tone on just one song is what they're really given, right? Like as they had on 5 Sauce 5, like they were able to come together as a collective and just make this like fun album together where they don't feel the pressure again to have to say what they want to say in one album, trying to have 4 competing voices in one album. So I love Everyone's a Star. Again, with time, it'll probably, you know, even grow even more on me. My favorites on this album that I keep coming back to and listening, Everyone's a Star, the, you know, title track of the album and of the world tour is phenomenal. Such a good song. I heard that they literally played it on a UFC fight too. Y'all, yes. Iconic song. The Rocks as well is so good. Evolve, I keep going back to. Start Over, so good. Number One Obsession. I Still Feel the Same. Oh my gosh, these are all so good. Yes. Love this album. Such a good album. Again, I think it's just because I couldn't put it above these other albums because I just have so much nostalgia for these albums. I know. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But objectively, I absolutely love that album. In the third position, drumroll please, we are putting, this is the debut album by 5 Sings a Summer. The one that started it all for me. 5 Sings a Summer by 5 Sings a Summer. Iconic. Absolutely. Came out in 2014. This is the 10th anniversary vinyl. Came out in 2024. Again, because it came out as the celebration for 10 years of this album. And y'all, again, objectively, they're very young on this album. I would say Everyone's a Star is probably, you know, better lyrically for sure. They have come a long, long way. But again, this started it all for me. And this album has just done so much for me. And I cannot forget everything that this album did for me as a young, you know, teenage girl and navigating things, and just especially for how young they were. This is such a good album for, you know, 16, 17-year-olds who made this album. Like, this album just means so much to me and does have some absolute bangers that I could just not let go and not give the respect that it deserves. So I also love this vibe of 5 Sings a Summer, right? Like the kind of like pop punk, like rebellious vibe of this album is so iconic. Like, I just love this album. Like, I feel like you cannot replicate this album. I feel like they, you know, almost kind of tried to a little bit with Everyone's a Star, but they're adults now. The lyrics are so much more mature. Like, just the vibe and the tone is more mature. They're still having fun in the same way that I feel like they were on this album. But the jovial vibes of this album, again, just cannot really be recreated by them, in my opinion. Let's go over the bangers. Of course, She Looks So Perfect. Literally did play that at my wedding. Yes, She Looks So Perfect is what started it all for me. Like I said, when I saw that She Looked So Perfect music video, it was over for me. I was a stan. I was a stan. I was shook.
I don't think I've ever felt like that.
Absolutely. So, She Looks So Perfect, so good. Amnesia got me over a breakup, y'all, okay? Like, Amnesia was that girl for me. That is the sad ballad. Absolutely just so good. So good. English Love Affair, which I know is a deluxe song, but English Love Affair, I listened to so much. I'm surprised it was not in like my yearly music recap, because I go back to that song so often. It's so good. It's about Harry Styles' sister, supposedly. Oh my god, such a banger. End Up Here, y'all. Her Nirvana shirt, so good. So good. Justice for Don't Stop. I loved Don't Stop back in the day. I can see why. Like, yeah, again, this is where we go back to like the lyrics are so pretty cringe, but like the instrumental and the vibe, like just the vibes of this song is so good. Oh my gosh, just all like the deluxe songs on here too, like Disconnected. Disconnected is so ahead of its time, I feel like, right? Like being disconnected from the world and technology back in 2014. They knew what they were saying. They knew what they were doing with that. So good. Everything I Didn't Say and Beside You, again, like my teenage heart needed those songs. Kiss Me is fun. Long Way Home. Oh my gosh, yes. Like there is just so much. So many good songs on here. If we want to talk about the songs I don't like on here, 18. Blink, 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 blink. No, no, no. 18 is not it. No. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. Honestly, that's about it. Oh, Heartbreak Girl, I do not love. I do not love. I know Callum like hates Heartbreak Girl, right? But like I don't hate it that much, but yeah, 18 and Heartbreak Girl are not really my thing. That's about it. I'm like looking, I'm like, that's it. I still like Good Girls, that's fun. Kiss Me. Yeah, like these are fun. Yeah, no. I love this album, and you cannot convince me otherwise. It is in the 3rd position. The top 2 spots, they are fighting here. The girls are fighting. And my brain cells were also fighting. Oh my gosh, this is such a hard one for me. This is such a hard one for me. I absolutely love both these albums so much. Oh my gosh, so much. But it had to be done. Absolutely had to be done. And in the 2nd position is Youngblood by 5 Seconds of Summer. It's potentially, I think, their most popular album. I would say probably their most like critically acclaimed or just like fandom acclaimed album. Like everyone loves this album, including me. I would say that this album is their most cohesive album. Absolutely. Like the vibe, the pop kind of vibe carries throughout. I don't think there's really any outliers. There's some that are a little more like rock than others, right? But that kind of still fits in with like the pop rock theme. Like I think that, again, even to this day, even with Everyone's a Star, I think that this is the most cohesively sounding and thematic and, you know, just lyrically cohesive album by them. And just in general, this is the most like cohesive album by them in my opinion. And again, I think that goes a long way for me. I can listen through this album in full and it just all makes sense. It just all vibes. It just all goes together. It's clocking to me, right? This is one of the like longest albums they took to make. This, and I guess technically Everyone's a Star was the longest break that they had between albums, because this came out in 2018. The album before this came out in 2015. And then again, as I mentioned, 5 Sauce 5 came out in 2022 and Everyone's a Star came out in 2025, right? So 3 years to make this album, and it was needed. Again, that's why I love this album. It is just so cohesive and it has absolute bangers on it. Youngblood, over 1 billion streams, right? Again, I think that's like technically their biggest song. So good. Youngblood is so good. So good. We love Youngblood. Want You Back, which was another single, was so good too. Oh my gosh. Yes, so good. So good. Valentine with Michael, I love as well. Moving Along is so good. Oh my gosh. Don't get me started. More is an actual iconic rock banger. I'm considering that just rock. Like I love More so much. That's probably honestly my favorite song on this album. That's one of my favorite songs by them. Yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention Wrapped Around Your Finger from the debut This one, sorry, we're going back to this one just for half a second. Wrapped Around Your Finger, I think is my favorite song by 5 Seconds of Summer. Like, I've been saying it's my favorite song for a long time. Maybe it's also because, like, you cannot find it anywhere. Like, Justice for Wrapped Around Your Finger. Oh my gosh, Michael. I love Wrapped Around Your Finger. So, again, that adds to their debut for me, for sure. That's why I want the record store day version. I want the record store day vinyl so bad. So bad. Because it has Wrapped Around Your Finger, and literally it's on no streaming services in the US. I'm so serious. I've checked everywhere. You can, like, find it on YouTube, but it's, like, distorted. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Back to Youngblood and why I love it so much. I love Ghost of You. This is, like, probably my second favorite love ballad by them. Like, Ghost of You is so good. I think that's why I was so disappointed by Ghost on Everyone's a Star, because that's supposed to be, like, maybe her twin in them, right? Like, a play on Ghost. But Ghost of You, you can't touch Ghost of You, in my opinion. I'm so sorry. The only thing that comes close to it is Amnesia. I think Amnesia might be my number one, but Ghost of You, absolutely love it. And they put it as the closer on, like, the standard album, right? Like, which makes so much sense to me. Babylon, which is a deluxe song, is so good too. One of my favorites on this album. Oh my gosh, me and my mom love Babylon. The Callum, again, banger ballad. I know that is so good. So good. Absolutely love that. So again, my favorites, Youngblood, that I go back to all the time. Youngblood, more, absolutely. Empty Wallets, I really like too. That's a fun one. Ghost of You, Babylon, absolutely. And even Moving On and Want You Back. And, like, Better Man too. Y'all, no, I do love this album. So good. Again, it all fits together. It's very cohesive. I can't think of any, like, that really stand out. Like, maybe Why Won't You Love Me isn't my favorite. I do like Woke Up in Japan, so that's kind of in the middle there for me. Better Man. I think Why Won't You Love Me. And I don't really listen to Lie to Me that often either. Those two are probably my least favorites. I don't listen to Talk Fast, If Walls Can Talk, and Better Man that often, but I do objectively like them. So I just really like this album. The only two that I don't love are Why Won't You Love Me. That's really the only one I don't love, honestly. Like, even Lie to Me, it's not my favorite, but this is such a good album. This is definitely one of their best albums, as people would say. So iconic. Again, more Babylon, Ghost of You. So good. Such a good album. It absolutely had to go in the second position. Okay, now I know y'all are all wanting an explanation and a reasoning for why I put this album in the first position, but this has been my favorite album by them for a long time, and it's hard for me to change my mind. So, Sounds Good, Feels Good by 5 Seconds of Summer. Probably their least well-received album. Probably, like, a lot of people's, like, least favorite or towards the bottom, but y'all, no. Justice for Sounds Good, Feels Good. This album has just done so much for me. Again, yes, I know nostalgia is playing a factor, and I don't care. Also, I would say that Everyone's a Star reminds me of this album. Like, I feel like you can just kind of tell that they're, like, having fun on this album. I have listened to this album so many times. Again, it's done so much for me. I will tell the stories again. I did literally sit on my bathroom floor waiting for this album to be released in 2015 when I was in high school on a school night. And I have no regrets. I had a great time in the bathroom. I had a great time, y'all. I absolutely love this album. It means just, like, so much to me. It does. It really does. Again, I just have listened to this album so many times. Such a banger. I will say that lyrically and even just cohesion, I don't think it's, like, necessarily the best. It's not. It is not the best, objectively. The vibes of this album, the feels, the nostalgia, the iconicness of this album just means so much to me that it has to go in the first position. I have to. Also, it deserves respect, and I'm going to be the first person to put it in their number one position, it seems like. But also, this does just have, like, such good songs. It does. Some of my favorite songs on here, absolutely. Castaway, I go back to so often. Outer Space / Carry On. Why do we not discuss this song more? I wrote a whole college essay in my, like, music class about this song, y'all. And the dichotomy and the beautiful angelicness of this song. Oh my gosh. No, I love this. I love this album. I love this song. Again, such a good closer to the album. This is where, like, the good closer started, in my opinion. Like, oh my gosh. I do love that they had, like, interludes. Like, they knew what they were doing on this album, I feel like. I do. I don't care if people don't love it, but guess what? I love it. I love it. Waste the Night is so good. I know it's repetitive, but I don't care. Waste the Night with Callum is so good. Castaway, I listen to all the time. Outer Space / Carry On, again, we already discussed how much I love it. San Francisco means a lot to me because I grew up in Northern California, or born and raised in California. I'm still up here. So again, San Francisco just means a lot to me. Airplanes is absolutely slept on. The Michael banger, yes, absolutely love. Jet Black Heart, come on, the Michael banger as well. Like, oh, so good. Permanent Vacation is so fun. Justice for Money. Justice for Money. Money is so good. Take my money. Oh my gosh, I love it. I just love the vibes. I love how upbeat this album is. Again, I feel like they're having a lot of fun with like, hey, everybody, even too. Like, Catch Fire's good. Vapor is good. Like, I'm looking at all these and I'm like, these are all good. I don't care. I don't care. My least favorites. What's my least favorites? Oh, yes, I know for sure. Invisible. Broken Home is not even on here. So I guess that is a deluxe. I did not know that. Invisible and Broken Home are the standout ones for me that I do skip. I will say. I know that but still, like, there's such a good meaning and message behind them. Like, right? Like, my parents are divorced. Yeah, I get it. And I know why they made that song, and like that song is needed. I think it's just more so like the vibes of the songs. The instrumentals I do not love. They're too slow and melancholy. Don't really fit with the vibe of the album, in my opinion. I do have to, point that out because I've been putting that on all of the other ones. I don't love like Safety Pin. I know that's a deluxe one. I do like The Girl Who Cried Wolf. Yes, I know it's a deluxe one, and that one is so good. Oh my god, I was obsessed with that one for a good period of time with Michael, again, screaming on it a little bit. Yes, those are good ones. They do have like a whole other... I know we're not going to be discussing EPs, so I won't discuss it. But Over and Out, Lost in Reality, if y'all know, if you know, you know. Those came out of this era. This is the new Broken Scene era. Y'all, come on. This was just such an iconic era. Again, this is like when I was in the thick of my fandom. Absolutely. I went to, a concert for this album. Absolutely loved that concert. Blew my mind. Iconic. And I do feel like I revisit this album quite a bit. She's Kind of Hot is absolutely, like, honestly not my favorite, I will say. Could take it or leave it. I used to love, like, Hey Everybody, She's Kind of Hot. Not so much anymore. Permanent Vacation is still so good, though. Reminds me of, like, a Green Day song. Money, so good. Jet Black Heart, so good. Like, oh my gosh. No. This album has done so much for me, and I am putting it in my first position because I can, and this is my ranking. So, we love her. So that was it for me. Ranking all 6 studio albums by my favorite band, 5 Seconds of Summer. Again, these are just my thoughts, opinions, feelings. It's just based off of vibes and nostalgia. And my thoughts as a 5-star stan. That is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your ranking down below. I do want to hear from you guys what you would put these albums in order of. I would just love to hear your thoughts. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, y'all. Like, I'm less than 200 away. This has been my dream for a long time, so thank you guys so much for being here with me. I appreciate literally each and every single one of you. And if you are a 5-star fan, please do subscribe. Again, let me know down below, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, and I'll hopefully see you guys on the next one. Okay, bye-bye.